what's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the film Black Phone 2. Now this is a sequel to 2021's The Black Phone, and you know this is like a supernatural horror film, and then again it's directed by Scott Derrickson, and you also have Ethan Hawke returning to the film, and Mason Thames returned too as well. Even Jeremy Davis, they return to reprise their roles from their previous film. Now this particular film is set like in the early 80s, like 1982, but it does have like flashback moments to like the 50s where it details like the events of what happened with Finney's like mother. So you also have like his younger sister in the film known as Gwen, and she's played by Madeline McGraw. Now this particular film, The Black Phone 2, it looks like it has like a stronger focus on her versus it having like on Finney. But Finney is, I guess you could say, like still like the protagonist of the film, but his sister this time around does play like a much larger role in this film, because at times it does seem like the film really is about her, but you still get to see the chemistry between both brother and sister and how they are still dealing with the aftermath of what happened with like the grabber, you know, who's played by Ethan Hawke from like the previous film. Well, this particular film does open with the idea that Gwen, she has like these constant dreams where she's also even sleepwalking in these particular dreams, and she sees like the victims of the grabbers, like, you know, like the previous like victims that he killed, like the previous like kids, or you could say boys that he killed like in the like in his past. So she keeps coming across like these victims in her dreams, but as she's having these particular dreams, it turns out that she is really like sleepwalking, and Finney knows about it because he has to come to her and wake up. And when she's sleepwalking, she actually walks to her, or even goes to the point where this particular dream that she's having, it actually takes her all the way to that point. I don't want to go into all that too much because it's kind of complicated, but at times this film does have like a strong, like a Nightmare on Elm Street vibe. It really feels like it's like a Freddy Krueger film, because at this point, and I guess everybody would know about this because you already hear people like random making comments about that it seems like it's like a Freddy Krueger film now. The grabber now is like apparently like within dreams and so on. So if he is attacking you in a dream, that really does happen for Will. It's like when he cuts somebody, it's like if he cuts like Gwen, or it's mostly like Gwen who is really having these dreams. Like if he cuts her or burns her or something like that really is happening to her like in real life, so he can actually kill her while she's actually dreaming. But it turns out what was actually stop him in this particular film, like the only way they can really stop him now, being that he has become like more and more supernatural. And there's really no explanation for this, and I guess that's spoiler territory, is they found that the three victims, or the three boys that he had killed like back, I think like a long time ago, like previously, you know, because the film does flash back to those kind of moments. But what I think was pretty cool about it too, I guess this is like how Scott Derrickson is doing, when he flashes like well, when he goes to like Gwen's like dreams, like the look of the film, it has like this strong like 70s type vibe. It looks like granny, like old, like I think that's kind of cool, like when he did that, you know, whenever she's kind of dreaming, that kind of like stood out. And the film is like very atmospheric, because at one point they travel to this place known as, I think, Alpine Lake, and they go there because Finney and Gwen's mother used to work there. So they go there to find out more and more about what's going on with like the grabber situation, and why Gwen is having these dreams about him and stuff like that, you know. So I just leave it at that. But you also have Jeremy Davis, who returns in the film. He plays like Terrence, you know, he's like the father of Gwen and Finney. And there's also like some secrets kind of revealed later in the film too as well. You also have I think Damian Beecher, who plays Armando, and he's like the supervisor of Alpine Lake, the camp that they go to, and they try to find out what happened to like the boys that were killed by the grabber, you know, in the past. And you also have Miguel Mora, who returns as Ernesto, and he was also like in the previous film, and of course, you know, he's kind of developing like a relationship with like Gwen, you know, they like, you can tell they're getting like attached to each other, but kind of Finney at one point is kind of against it, you know, so I thought that was kind of cool. And there's also other people in the film too, like you have Mustang, you have Hope, and these are like other characters who are in the film, like Kenneth, you know, and Bob. I don't want to touch on them too much, but the film can be very like bloody and like graphic too, like you said, decapitations, people getting like killed and stuff like that, like serious, like as far as like the boys go, like them getting killed and stuff like that. It can be like very graphic at times, you know. But overall, I must admit, it felt like this film kind of, I don't know, it seems like it's kind of better than the original. I think if I choose to, I think I would say it was from my point of view. But it still at times seems like it's kind of like a letdown. But it's still trying to be kind of much better than I thought it would be. And it was kind of like a decent, like a great particular film, you know. like I said, the only thing kind of odd about it feels very similar to like a Nightmare on Elm Street. You can say Freddy Krueger, because now the grabber is within like their dreams. And like I said, if he's attacking you in your dream, he can actually kill you. Like if he cut you or burn you or do something to you or throw water on you, it actually happened to that particular person. So like Gwen, whoever's dreaming, it actually happened to them like in real life. So it's very similar to like Freddy Krueger, you know, or Nightmare on Elm Street, very similar to that. I'm surprised they are even getting away with that too, you know. But overall, I must admit, it was still pretty a pretty solid film. I thought even some of the performances were like pretty decent, especially like from Fanny, like May, who's played by Mason Thames, even Gwen, who's played by Madeline McGraw. I thought he did a pretty cool job. And Ethan Hawke does return, you know, like I said, he's as a grabber, and he's constantly like consistently throughout the film, like masked too as well. Like I said, at this point, he's like very supernatural, you know. And you get to see like a little more about like his past history. And apparently, like these boys that he killed, like these first victims, they were actually like his first victims. Not spoiler territory. They were actually like his first like victims, you know, that he killed. But overall, I think this is a pretty. It was okay. It was decent. It still feels like it's a C, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a B minus. And I think this is definitely you know, worth watching. And it is like very gruesome at one point, like, very bloody and stuff like that. And you do feel like you feel for these like characters or these victims, you know. Anything can happen to them, or they can be killed. I was even suspecting some of them would die, you know, but I'm not going to touch on that. But well, I can say it was okay though. It was better than I thought it was going to be, you know. So I'm giving this a B minus, and this is my review for Black Phone 2. Please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.